Classes in session.
Is that delicious?
Welcome to Unlearn 16 Classes in Session. I feel the need to lean in. I don't know if I need to lean in. Right now I'm drinking a Slurpee and a slushie, whatever it is you people call it. If you're not watching right now, it is blue, absolutely blue.
My favorite is lime, and she always says that it's the worst, but
this is starting
leave
so
it down
bad.
in the comments if you love lime as much as me.
Yeah, could you put in the comments which the best flavor of slushie is? I'm going to tell you right now. I don't even think they serve lime anywhere.
Of course they, well,
I
of
haven't
course they
seen
do.
it.
They have to.
Guys, that's not
So
what
many
this
people
podcast
love it.
Oh, this is starting so bad. I just want to say this before we get into it today. Anna doesn't really like talking and arguing and debating. That's not the person she is. Having said that, there are a handful of topics we agree on, a handful of things we like and we enjoy together, and one is Star Wars. If you can see, I am wearing my full Star Wars hat, and if you can, shirt, and if you can see, this one to my right here is wearing my Star Wars hat. I'd like to point that out.
She gave it to me.
In the background of the podcast image, you will see an original 1977.
So the point she's
Millennium
trying to make
Falcon.
is, if you're listening, make sure you go check out the YouTube version as well, so that you can see.
You know what? It's not really here's the point I'm trying to make. I have been a Star Wars fan since 1977, and I've watched them in the correct order, and I've done all the pre-work, I've done all the post-work.
I mean,
and this one over here thinks she knows Star Wars better, and somehow has more of a deep perspective. And guys, we're sitting watching. We agreed to watch all 9 again. Number 1, first problem right off the hop. I say, baby, let's watch all Star Wars. She said, yeah, that's a good idea, because we don't agree on anything, right? I said, okay. So I go to put in episode 4, as every Star Wars fan on the planet would. And she looks at me and goes, excuse me? I said, what's the problem? She goes, we start with 1. I said, no, you don't.
Why wouldn't you want to watch something in chronological order?
Because the whole point of starting with 4, not only is it chronological for the way it came out, and prequels matter because you've already... We can't get into this, right? I think we got to save this for the argument. I just got to point out the
Okay, introduce
anvil.
the podcast. Go.
So number 1, we fight over what order to watch them in. Number 2, I say, fine, baby. Let's do number 1 first, because I'm a loving, caring individual.
She really is.
Who gives up my own sense of self and identity.
For what is right.
And then, guys, here's what happens next. Episode 1 comes up, and here comes the scroll. And any true Star Wars fan, your favorite, like the moment where you hear that music and then you read that scroll is the most powerful introduction. There's Ripley in the back of the camera.
Girl.
She also likes the Millennium Falcon. I'd like to point that out. That's the most powerful minute. This one does this. What are you doing?
I said, can we fast forward?
I think we could stop the podcast right now, and I think 99% of people will say, Joanna, you're 100% right. You're going to get Larissa because she likes to suck up to you. But that's what the cat's now scratching at the carpet. She's upset. You've upset her by talking about skipping the scroll.
First of all, she loves scratching this carpet, so I don't think that it's because she's upset.
Guys. Okay, so we're going to get into it. Today we're going to talk about all 9, in some way, shape, or form, Star Wars movies, the underlying principles, the character, the acting, the everything. For those who are expecting like those guys on the internet that like know the backstory because they read the one issue of the comic book that was only released in like Sweden in 1987, we're not those people. I'm not that person, you're not that person. So we're not going to compete with that. We're going to give you an average watcher.
Also, if you are hearing trembling, it is not thunder.
That's the garbage truck.
It's, yeah.
He's serious about his job. Ripley's keeping good eye. Keep a good eye on that. All right, so let's... first, so right off the hop, guys, we have some differing of opinions about how to watch it.
You didn't even introduce. Welcome, everybody. This is Unlearn 16,
did.
Classes in Session.
I did.
Guest today, Anna Pack. We're talking about Star Wars.
I'm sweating right now. I'm sweating right now because I already am so upset with the conversation that's going to happen. So we're going to jump into all of the different characters, all of the different themes. Right off the hop, who's your favorite character? Be honest.
I really like George.
That's right. For those who are listening,
funny.
For those who are listening, I think we can disavow all of your information coming forward. Jar Jar's her favorite.
I also quite enjoy C-3PO.
It's because he's gay? Doesn't he feel gay to you? Doesn't the tone of his voice, we're talking in stereotypes now, I'm going to get all these people yelling at me, but C-3PO to me has some gay vibes. Maybe that's why you're drawn to him.
Maybe. I mean, that wasn't like my thought. I just thought he's funny, but.
I'm just saying, he's got a vibe. Okay, so we jump into it. We're going to start, I guess, for the love of God, we'll start at episode 1. I
don't know if I can go like episode to episode. I just have like specific points to make.
She can't even talk about each episode.
No,
all right. Look, I'm going to put down my whole identity, and we're not going to do it in a rational debating. We're going to do it. Go ahead. What do you got? What's your first point?
My first point is that it wasn't Anakin's fault. You're
going to have to elaborate.
Look, you and I are both teachers. You work more in an academical situation.
Did you just say academical?
Academical.
Can somebody please grammar check or spell check that?
Anyways, and regardless, me more in the
Academical.
arts. But anyways, point being is that we work with kids, and we both know that different situations call for different ways to teach a certain, whatever it is that you're teaching that day. But it calls for, differences. And so you have this whole storyline saying that he was always angry and his anger is what did him and blah, 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 and fear and so on, and his attachments and whatever, right?
You're just skipping over all the important parts.
But it's not.
With it is.
Point
it really
being,
much
the
is.
point,
We're going to have to talk about what a Jedi is.
The point that and I'll get to that in a second.
Don't you point at me.
The point that I'm trying to make is that, first of all, they had already said that he was too old to be trained. So now we know that there's specific guidelines that we need to follow in order to follow this particular curriculum that they've got going on.
Pause. Did they still train him?
I need to finish my story.
No. Because you said that your argument is going to be they never broke the rules for him, they never changed what they did for him, yada yada yada. What I'm saying to you is the initial rule was he is too old to be trained, and Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan and even Yoda bent to that and decided to train him otherwise. So they're not so hard, steadfast in their ways of doing things that they're not willing to break it for exceptions. That's what that proves.
Okay, one exception in ages and ages
so
of
many
Jedis.
Other exceptions. Ages of Jedis.
The fact is,
Luke was
that
like 52.
The fact is that okay, so that's literally 2 exceptions in the entirety of everything. So listen.
Did you watch everybody else get trained?
Listen. Point is that they
Samuel
said that
just
he
got
was
trained last year.
He was he was too old. They said that they did not want to train him. There was pushback, and then at some point they said fine. At that point, when they said fine, he now became their obligation to do right by him in order to make sure that he succeeds, because it is not a child's responsibility to figure out what it is they're supposed to figure out. It's the teacher's responsibility to make sure that they get there. And that wasn't done. One, because every time that he needed help or whatever.
Oh my God.
Or every time that something arose, he wanted something, he was always pushed down. And it was like every time that he was down, they just kept kicking him. You don't kick someone while they're down.
First of all,
and it was
he
like
was
left,
never down.
left,
He was never
right,
down.
left,
You're not
right,
giving
and
any
center.
specific examples
Okay.
because you're giving generalities.
I'll give you a specific example. When he was having those dreams that
About his mom?
about Padme,
Yeah.
he went to Yoda and basically
Lied.
No, he didn't lie.
He absolutely lied. He didn't tell her what the relationship was with Padme. He didn't say how intimate they become. He hid all that information from Yoda. He lied.
He still wanted
How do you
help.
train somebody who lies?
He went to go get help, and basically what Yoda said was like, let it pass.
That's not true.
That
I am going. Listen, if we were going
Basically
to
said,
break
"Meh,
copyright,
let
I'd
it
hit
pass."
play. It's not what he said. He said you're supposed to let go of your attachments. Now, you can debate on what makes a good Jedi, if attachments make a good Jedi, if they don't make a good Jedi. But the point of a Jedi, and we should have done this at the very beginning, the point of the Jedi is to be just. And in order to be just, you have to let go of all attachments. And if you don't let go of all attachments, what you end up doing is you prioritize one person or one group over others, not in the essence of what is just and what is fair and what is right, but in the essence of what your heart is connected to. And as Jedi, you are detached from that, so you do what is right. And not all Jedis can do that. To be honest, Obi-Wan didn't do it, right? Or else he wouldn't. Qui-Gon didn't do it, because Qui-Gon immediately felt an attachment to him. Obi-Wan felt an attachment to him to the point where he is just going to live and die on that dusty planet until that kid's ready to fight.
Okay.
Right?
But
So they all didn't do it, but they all understand they're supposed to. The problem with him, the problem with Anakin, is he fought that. He said that's not what makes a good Jedi. That's the problem.
But it's not, because he did try to.
No, he didn't.
He kept saying that's not what Jedis do, or that's not what a
he'll
Jedi's
say
supposed to do.
But
Also,
then
not to
he
mention
puts himself back in that position.
So you're saying, a Jedi is supposed to be this way and that way, and you said that both Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon didn't do that. Yet the Council still decided to appoint them and make them Jedi Masters. Yet Anakin is just as,
but Anakin
has all the
didn't give
powers
it
and credentials and
nearly
whatever.
the time. Anakin wanted to be a Jedi Master almost as soon as Obi-Wan was. If Anakin would have stepped back and said, look at the length of time Obi-Wan has taken to get there.
Sometimes it takes people a shorter amount of time
And
to
I'd agree with you
achieve certain
if he could
things.
detach, if he could master that emotion.
Right, but you just said that Obi-Wan wasn't able to, yet he was still made a Jedi Master.
But he was able to do it to a much greater degree, to the point where he makes decisions that end up having Anakin killed. He makes decisions that get Anakin almost killed. His arms were cut off. His legs were cut off. Almost killed, right? He made those decisions. Why? He didn't want to make those decisions, but he knew that the fate of the whole system was going to be at risk.
But he couldn't bring himself to actually do it.
Did it, but Anakin didn't make those decisions. Anakin consistently made those decisions to, we're going to skip over his mom apparently killing all those kids, but Anakin consistently made decisions to save one person. And one person alone. Anakin walked directly into that. And the fear...
Again, because he wasn't trained properly. Because if you know that someone has certain attachments, you can't just be like, okay, team, now let it go.
I have a great question
You
for you.
have to have a different way of approaching different situations.
I agree.
And the Jedi Council let him down.
Absolutely not. I agree that all students can get taught differently. Sure, we can agree on that. Can you also agree that there will be students who will be great and students who won't be?
Sure.
Okay, so by essence of that, had they given Anakin more power and succumbed to his and we can all admit, childlike temper tantrums, because we see it in him and then we see it in Kylo. Kylo, they just accentuate exactly who Anakin was, which was a temper tantrum, I want it my way or the highway little child.
But that's because he wasn't taught differently.
No, he was still being taught. That's because he was still being taught.
But
when he demanded to be on the council, remember who did that? He was so easily manipulated. that demanding for him to be on the council by the emperor.
Why?
The emperor
Because the entire council kept saying no, 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 even though you're amazing, 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 still no,
Nobody
no,
said
no.
amazing, amazing, amazing. They said that he
Then-
had natural ability, that he had a high level of metachlorines. Nobody ever said you were better than anyone else. That's Anakin's head. That's Anakin's head.
It's the fact that Palpatine builds him up instead of tearing him down.
But Palpatine, and now we're in, oh God, wait till you hear our second point, folks. Now you're into a situation where Palpatine, he didn't build him up, he manipulated him.
By building him up.
No, he didn't build him up.
If his team of people who are supposed to be on
That's
his
not
side
building him up.
had built him up
That's
instead
lying.
of tear him
You're
down
missing the point.
constantly.
That's lying. That's like a kid that sits in the back of my classroom, cheats, lies, steals, manipulates. Somebody comes in and goes, "You're a really good student." No, they're not. No, they're not.
Well,
But that kid wants to believe somebody else.
Anakin is the strongest Jedi, though.
No, he's not. You know how I know he's not the strongest
He's
Jedi?
the chosen one.
He lost.
He's the chosen one.
He's not the chosen one. I know you're stuck on this chosen one, but he's not the chosen one. Who is the chosen one?
He's the chosen one.
Rey.
Oh, stop it right now.
Rey's the one that brings
No.
balance to the Force.
It was already confirmed that he's the chosen
By
one.
who?
We
rewatched it. By who? Who said he was the chosen one? Qui-Gon said he's the chosen one. Yoda said, I don't know.
The author of the movie.
Oh my God.
Facts. Should I drop my
George
mic now?
Lucas.
Mic drop.
Roll the clip.
Second point.
I never saw that confirmation.
Second point that I want to make.
Oh God. Wait. We have to
Okay.
get back to no.
Okay, go
We
ahead.
can't just skip over what's his face. We can't just skip over the Emperor whispering in his ear saying, "You're the best. You're the best. You're the best." That's a lie. That's not building him up. That's manipulation. And if his mind was clear, if he wasn't so driven by fear and by attachment, he would have seen that. But because he was driven by those things, and that's going to take time because of where he grew up and how he grew up, that's going to take time for those things to go away, if ever. If ever.
I don't think we're gonna agree on this because again,
That's manipulation.
I can come back and say, how is a student most likely to succeed by you always saying no, that's not how you do it, blah blah blah, or by praising the things that the student does right.
But if you watch, I would love everybody to watch episode 1 and 2 because he is praised. But for Anakin, there will never be enough praise. Because for Anakin, praise is supposed to lead instantaneously to something else. Because he's driven by those attachments.
I don't think he was ever praised by the
100% he
council,
was.
though.
Qui-Gon risked his life to get him off that planet.
But all Qui-Gon
Then
did
he
was
died. And what did Qui-Gon say? You have to train him.
Yeah,
And
so-
Obi-Wan went against the whole council and trained him and stood. And this kid still thinks he's not supported? For people that have been through that kind of trauma, look, there's some deeper meanings here. For people that have been through that kind of trauma, it's going to take an awful long time for them to have a true sense of what support looks like and what those steps look like. It can't be instantaneous. There is no other, in the history of the council, person as young as Anakin ever admitted. Ever. Yoda, can we agree Yoda is the top dog? Yoda took hundreds of years to get to where he is. Dude was 800 by the end of it all.
Sure, but when was he... That was just his span, but when was he made master? Like, when was he declared
But
master?
again, there is no, they said it right in the movie, there is
Sure.
no person that
Yeah.
was that young ever.
I
In the
get
history
that.
of the council, you got to take time.
But
He
just
wasn't
because...
even a master yet and he wanted on the council.
But just because it hadn't been done before, or just because he is the youngest, doesn't mean that it can't. It just proves that at a young age, he could have.
But he couldn't have because he still had so much fear, so much anxiety. He was riddled. Every time he made a decision, it was based on emotion and high intensity emotions. And
Again,
that's not
not
how
his
you make.
fault.
But that's,
Wasn't trained properly.
But that's not how you make a balanced decision. So you're saying
That
we're
he was
supposed
held
to,
back.
No, he wasn't held back. Again and again and again, he was put in situation.
Held back,
He thought he didn't
pushed
need to
down.
be trained anymore. No, he kept saying, I'm done being trained. I'm good to go. Sign me up for master. When in actuality, every single instance proved that he wasn't ready. Sure, he could come out of it, but what were his motivations? Because if your motivations aren't for justice, if they don't come from balance, if they don't come from calm, you are not making just decisions. And his entire reason for being was Padme. Now, we can say that's romantic.
You're still stuck on the fact that the only point that I'm trying to make is that he wasn't put into the council. But it's not...
He wasn't made master, I get that.
Yeah, but it's not just like that specific point. It's the fact that at every turn, it was never, good job, Anakin, or you're doing good, Anakin. It was never that.
100%. I think we could go back. Everybody can go back and count how many times Obi-Wan said that was amazing. But when Anakin puts other Jedis at risk, like when they were fighting Dooku, when Anakin puts other Jedis at risk consistently because he is not going in with rationality, he is not going in with calm, puts everybody at risk.
Was he taught any differently?
Yeah, but that's the point. He wasn't. He was being taught. He was being
taught in the same way that the other younglings were being taught.
No, because every time they talked about him, how much more freedom he got, how much more freedom, how much more responsibility he got all of this stuff. Why? Because Obi-Wan was pushing for it, because he believed him to be the one.
Hi, baby.
All right. We're going to move on to point 2, and if you thought point 1 was annoying, just wait till point 2. Go ahead. Point 2. And this is Ripley, who now wants to sit here during the podcast.
See, I don't know if I want to go to point 2 or reverse to like point 0, point 1, because I feel like we kind of skipped.
Point 0, point 1?
0.1, because we went to point 1, so we have to...
What's 0.1?
I think that...
Oh, man. I don't even know if I've heard this yet.
I think that... the whole Jedi situation might be a cult, because listen though, because
if there are any Star Wars fans listening to this, please don't shut us off.
They take you from anyone who could possibly be like, maybe not the best idea, and that's what cults do. They remove you from people that, you know, center you and things like that, and they remove them.
Who was centering him? His slave owner?
Well, his mom. But I just mean, right now you're just talking...
his mom's problematic, but no Jedi gets to take their mom.
And that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm not just speaking on Anakin right now. I'm speaking on everybody. They are taken away from their people who would, you know, in normal life say, maybe not the best idea, because really they're taking them away and training child army people.
No, but they're not changing.
Why does
it say it's a cult? I mean, you can say anything's a cult. You have to decide what the good is.
Why is there a lightsaber in a kid's hand?
Because they're competent. Apparently, they couldn't. All those 50 of them couldn't take out Anakin that one time, though. But they lured him in. He lured them in. Listen, I mean, I guess we can talk about that. But the end of the day, they're taking these kids that have gifts in order to magnify their gift, and they are taking them away from their families. I get that, because again, attachment breeds making decisions that aren't the best for the planet, that aren't the best for the world. They are the best for you.
So point number 2, now that we got from 0.5, now we can get to point number 2.
God.
So you're taken away from all that, and basically the Jedi are saying, repress all your emotions. So then
it's like she's never seen an episode. That's not what they say. So then
you're like, well, I don't know anyone who has ever said to repress your emotions.
They didn't say repress. They don't say repress. They say don't let them control you. Emotions are incredibly important. The foundation of a Jedi is compassion. And to have compassion, you need to have empathy. But you need to have equalized empathy to all living creatures, because all living creatures matter that are walking this planet as much as the next one. When we have unjust levels of compassion, according to the Jedi, those people then protect their own. And as soon as you form tribes, as
What
soon as you
makes-
form that kind of idea, when you're protecting your own, you're not making good holistic decisions. And if you're not making holistic decisions, that's cool. You don't have to. But the Jedi is there to make sure the whole planet works to the best of its ability.
What makes Padme any less?
What?
What makes Padme any less?
Any less what? What are you talking about? Any less of a Jedi? She's never a Jedi.
No, what?
Any less what?
Any less, like, what makes her survival or what her death any less important than anybody else's? Why? Just because he loves her?
No. Oh, that's a great question. Let me answer that. Because it wasn't just about her death. Because by him only caring about her death, he got lured and transformed into the dark side. He created the Empire.
Don't you think that things would have been a lot more different if Yoda in that moment had helped him?
Yoda didn't know. Want to know why?
Because he said, just let it pass.
Anakin was lying about who she was and about what he was willing to do.
Maybe he omitted it, but he
stop.
was...
Are we now saying omissions aren't lie? We're going to need to take a break to find out what a lie is in a relationship?
No,
I'm
but
a little worried that omitting things isn't a lie.
What I'm saying is that he went for help, and maybe he wasn't ready to talk about the entire thing, but he still went for help, and what he was told was to let it go.
No, what he was told is the future is driven by emotion. That's why every time Yoda's asked for the future, he says the future is unclear. We cannot predict. The only person that deals in absolutes are the Sith. And it's no different. The reason why I love Star Wars so much, and I think a lot of people love Star Wars so much, is because it really talks. No, put down your fear. Yeah, you have to learn how to not be led by your fear. Absolutely. You
need to feel your emotions.
You can feel them.
So maybe,
you understand there's a difference between feeling them and being led by them.
I don't know if he was led by them,
100%
but I know that
he was led by it. Everything he did was fear that Padme was going to die.
He could use it.
No.
Just like in life, you're allowed to use your emotions.
Sure, but if you're led by one, if you're not tapping into all of them.
One. He's also led by love.
I don't think it was love. I think it was attachment. I think love, true love, and this is what lots of people would say, true love, even in that circumstance, he would have said, I'm going to let her go. In that circumstance.
Do you love me?
Stop it. Am I at risk of going to the dark side? Am I a Jedi? Am I at the hands of being able to do that?
Notice that they never say the evil side. It's not the good side and the evil side,
guys.
It's just
I like
the
to put a trigger warning right before this next argument.
It's just the light side and the dark side. It's not good and evil. I don't understand why. First of all, we can't live in both.
That's interesting. A lot of people think Luke was a gray Jedi.
Okay.
A lot of people think Luke was a gray Jedi. Well, we're not supposed to live in both, because what it's showing is the world will always have both. That's what the whole point of that is.
Right, but it's not necessarily being evil. It's just the people that were portrayed in this movie ended up doing evil things.
That's not true.
But
anybody that's lured by the dark side are for selfish, fearful, anxiety-driven goals. They are the not negative people. I think the reason why they don't call them evil people is because I think a person can be swayed, just like Vader was then swayed back to the good side of the Force. But the reality is that those characteristics, those inherent drives, those emotions, we can choose to be led by. And I find it interesting because of how you lead your life, and how you lead your life with positivity and focusing on that, because you know that you manifest things, which is, by the way, the Force. Well, it is. I mean, guys, take the word crystal and put in lightsaber, and pretty much... Sure,
but crystal, so does the dark side.
But here's you're right, but they use them for the wrong purposes. So if you were sitting there,
but that's because,
and being led by fear, what are you likely to get?
It's because the people that are portrayed in the movies have a different objective to gain with the power that they have.
Power.
Yeah. Okay.
They want power,
Now,
they want
great.
control, and they want it for their own might and their own
Yes.
validity and their own
those
stardom.
And those are the characters like
Tell
the
me,
Siths and like
what's a good thing
Palpatine
that
and-
comes out of fear?
Hold on. It's not, but you keep saying fear, but the thing is that it's not just fear,
Anger.
because they say that the dark side just uses their emotions, period, regardless of whether it's fear or anger. Now, they used in the movie fear and anger, but they said it's people who are led by their emotions. So it could be good emotions, it could be, and that's the point that I'm trying to make, is that you could be on the dark side because you are using your emotions and not necessarily have a ulterior motive to use that force with. You could just have that force but be using the dark side.
Give me an example.
Well, they didn't put one in the movie.
We'll go ahead
so
and make one up if you understand the depths of this so much. Because
I feel like the new she's not a new character, Ahsoka, I think is her name. Is it?
Ooh, which one? In Obi-Wan?
Well, no, not in Obi-Wan.
Ahsoka?
She's the one with the, I think the yellow or white lightsabers. She's got the,
Who plays her?
I don't know.
What episode she in?
Well, I'm pretty sure she was in,
Mandalorian?
she appeared in a few episodes of the
Is it Jennifer Beals' character?
I
Does
don't-
she have the long head? Like it looks like her head's extended. Oh no! It's I don't know much about her to talk about her.
Well,
She's not led by emotion.
I don't either, but yeah. But she left the Jedi because she didn't believe in what was happening. And so she went to the dark side, but she didn't have those ulterior motives of using the Force in order to gain power or whatever. But she did go to the dark side just because she feels her emotions.
I don't know what character you're talking about. I think you've hoodwinked me into this episode, and now I don't know who you're talking about. And that's a hell of a lot of backstory I missed.
She has the
But how did you get all that backstory? Did she have a full episode?
Well, she was.
We're gonna have to come back around to it. Here's my question. Okay, so if I'm led, again, Jedis are led by compassion. That is not to say that love is compassion. The point is not being led by emotion. The point is being led by equitable emotion. That emotion isn't there to benefit you or benefit people immediately around you. Therein lies the negative. And if we then take that and apply
But isn't
it to
that
the
what
world,
manifesting is, though?
But
That's
if we
literally what
apply
you
it
just said.
to the world around us, sure. Well, that's because you're not a Jedi.
So then,
I
am
never
I a
claim
Sith?
for you to be a Jedi. No, because I think most people most people in the Star Wars universe aren't Jedis or Siths. They don't know about the Force. They haven't mastered it. They don't know.
No, I'm just using I'm using literally your example about how you said that I like manifesting in crystals and
Well,
and
I think because
whatnot.
it's basing it on an energy.
It's based on emotion, because now I'm not going to go into like the whole
It's not based.
meditating and manifesting thing, but they say that your thoughts are strong, but your emotions are stronger. So if you think about something and you feel what you would feel while you're thinking about that thing, it's a lot more powerful, which is why I keep saying just because you're driven by your emotions doesn't mean that you're evil. In this situation, it puts you on the dark side, but it doesn't make you evil.
But it does make you.
Evil would be is if I used what I know about manifesting and crystals and thoughts and whatnot to do something evil.
No, I think to a Jedi. Okay, so we're taking it to the extreme. That's a good point. But we're taking it to the extreme. But I think what a Jedi would say, let's say you want to be a pop star and you're on the road to that. So you're trying to manifest that. A Jedi would say, okay, but is that doing the world the best good? Is that doing the world the best good? And if it's not doing the world the best good, that's cool. You can keep doing that. You can keep manifesting. You can keep channeling and doing all of that. But what you've done is you've made it personal. It doesn't make you evil. It doesn't make you good. It just makes you more self-interested, right? Whereas a Jedi would say, all of my energy, all of my compassion has to be equitably distributed, has to be what is always for the greatest good, not what's for my good.
Okay.
There's the difference. There's the difference.
Okay, but with the example that you just gave, I can turn that over as well, because, okay, being a pop star, sure.
A Pop-Tart.
Pop-Tart.
I'd be a strawberry Pop-Tart.
But here's the thing.
This one over here, the Rocky Road.
Why are you then saying, as a Jedi, that my message that I will then put into the songs, or the energy that I put out, let's say during a concert, to make those people that are at the concert happy, or people that are in general listening to one of my songs that could be very positive, very uplifting, make someone's day, why is now that any less?
It depends what your motive is. And their Jedi is always about intent. And I think that's pretty powerful. If your intent is to do all of those things and to garner no fame and to garner no money, that's not your intent. Your intent is to use your gifts to make this world a better place. They would say your intent is pure, therefore your objective is pure. Go out and do it.
But I am using my emotions to do it.
They never said you can't use your emotions. You need to use balanced emotions. So if the emotions you're only ever using, and you need to use the types of emotions that aren't negatively driven. So what other emotion besides love and compassion are there that aren't negative? On one side we got love, compassion, empathy. It's all the same thing. The other side is what? Fear and resentment and attachment. What's another emotion? I mean, those are the two main driving emotions.
But okay.
Guilt, where does that lie? Guilt has no place in a Jedi, right? Guilt makes no sense. Shame makes no sense. Those are negative emotions, and all those negative emotions are going to cause and perpetuate negative impacts or negative actions. You live in the positive, and you live in a balanced state. Look, we can even look at this when it comes to issues of gender, when you separate categorizations of femininity and masculinity. A strong person, a better, a more holistic person can draw upon the great attributes and the great characteristics of both. That's what you try to do, not the negative.
You said of both.
Yep, but of masculinity and femininity. What I'm saying is, what you're trying to do is garner all of the positives, none of the negatives. And fear, I honestly believe, and the reason why these movies are so powerful, and everybody thinks it's the lightsabers, but the reason why these movies are so powerful, well, it's true, the fight scenes, is because it speaks on how destructive and debilitating and like self-sabotaging that fear is. And fear is the primary negative emotion, because fear leads to everything. Fear leads to everything. If you're afraid of losing something, if you're afraid of not being important, if you're afraid of dying, if you're afraid of risking things, if you're afraid of looking stupid, if you're afraid, all of that fear does is limit, restrict, and then make you bet on things that are either going to try to minimize that fear for you, which that can't be done, or try to, overcome that fear by controlling, by excluding. So if I'm competitive, let's say, and I have a fear that I'm going to lose the race. Sorry, Nancy Kerrigan and Tanya Harding just popped into my head. I can't help that kind of act. If I have that fear, and that's the fear that's driving me, and I can't wrap my head around that I am good enough, or even better.
Now, if you have someone telling you
even better
that you're not good enough,
no, wait,
you're not going to go train with that coach.
But wait, even better, I might lose. I might lose the race. I might lose the whatever. And if I do, maybe my greatness, my perfection shouldn't take priority over what is. And so I don't take a tire iron to my competitive's, quadricep. Mm-hmm. I skate.
But you find a coach who's also helping you out.
Listen, there is no way that you can possibly say that Obi-Wan didn't help him out. That Obi-Wan loved him so much he didn't even kill him when his legs were cut off, his arms were cut off.
I'm not necessarily saying that Obi-Wan on his own was just him to blame. Like I said, I keep saying the council a lot. I definitely say that it was those groups of people that sat in that semicircle. And because Obi-Wan is led by those people, as much as he wanted to do good by Anakin, there was still this other side that was stopping him from giving Anakin his 100%. But so do I think that the council...
I think he gave Anakin his 100%.
Failed Anakin and was the reason for that he
I think when Anakin said I should be on the council, even Obi-Wan went, "Excuse me, little boy?" Like, remember how young he would have been. How young are we what was he? He was like, when he was found.
And 8? I'm not necessarily saying that, like, yeah,
he could have been
should
16
have been on the,
for crying out loud.
I get that, but again, I'm not necessarily saying, like, yeah, put him on the council, but also don't be like, no, absolutely not. You're not ready. You're not blah, blah, blah. No, be like, sweetheart, maybe not right now, but let's work on this, and this, and let's keep working on this, and then we'll touch base in a little bit. And then like that, it gives him things to work towards, because right now, all he's being told is no.
But I think he had things to work towards. I think he kept fighting for the things he thought were more important.
Anyway,
going back to save his mom, going to save Obi-Wan, and all of those things seem good. I mean, all of those things seem good. No, because you're supposed to do what's right for the universe. You're supposed to do what's right for everybody, not what's right for you.
But I don't think that he was necessarily trained.
What if by going to save his mom, 400 people died? What about by him and Padme then, being a part of that? What if that, mm-hmm. and not doing what he was told and not doing what was in that plan, what if? Mm-hmm. What was right? According to the Jedi,
okay, but did anything
400?
Did anything happen?
Yep, that's the point of course something happened. Something
what
always
happened?
Happens. But something always happens.
What?
Well, he becomes Darth Vader. That's what happened.
What if he had gone to his mother, let's say a day earlier, and saved her, and then came back?
But you can't. That's not the point. The point is that if you lead
by
what's only good for you, you put... at the end of the day, what's the point? I'll tell you what the point was, and I totally forgot this part of the movie, but thank you for jarring it. That's the point of the movie, where Obi-Wan's finding about the clone army. Mm-hmm. And he can't get a hold of Anakin to get a hold of the council in order to say what was happening. What if they would have found that all out right then, quicker, and stopped the clone army? Now what? Now it's not just 400 people. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of people that are going to be killed by the Empire because that clone army was allowed to be brought to fruition.
I don't know what you're talking about.
when Anakin doesn't stay put the way he's supposed to stay put, mm-hmm. Obi-Wan can't. He goes and finds a planet with all the little clones. But Obi-Wan can't connect with them anymore.
Okay, now I know.
He needs to come home and go find him because he's run off somewhere.
I got that.
All of that took time.
My previous statement, which was, what if we had saved his mom earlier?
No, but that's not the point. You're missing. No, it's not.
That's the point. That's the original point that I was trying to make when it comes to making an exception in order to bring into your program someone that you think is the chosen one. You have to then continue making exceptions, like maybe saving his mother.
But he doesn't ever make it known to anybody. He doesn't even give...
Why?
He doesn't even
because
give
he's
that
not
as an
allowed.
option. Well, because he's
told... not allowed.
He's
exactly.
told that he's not... But again...
Exceptions need to be made.
If he was true to his emotion... he'd put it on the table. The reason why he doesn't put it on the table is because
he's told not to.
No, because he knows that running your emotion, that making decisions to be selfish and self-gaining aren't the Jedi way. You can be a hero all on your own. You can be Han Solo, you can be Padme, you can save your own people, and that can be your own limited place on this earth, and it is powerful and it is amazing. But if you truly want to be bigger than that, You don't just look what's good for you and your immediate family and what makes you feel good. You have to take what's into an account. And Anakin couldn't do that because he never could put those things down. That's why he's not a Jedi.
Why couldn't he put those things down? Because they trained him the same way that they trained
the
little younglings.
No, they didn't, because
Yes,
he was
they did.
already too old to be trained like the younglings.
Well, at whatever.
Younglings?
Younglings. Anyways, all I'm saying is that they made the exception for him to come in. At some point, you can't train him the same way that you would train somebody else, because at that age, those kids already do not have that attachment. So what are you going to do? You know that he's feeling all these feelings.
That was a weird noise.
Ripley's into something.
She's decided to break into a closet. She doesn't like it when doors are closed.
Anyways, exceptions should have been made.
And I'm saying exceptions were made. Please comment below all the exceptions that were made. Somebody's going to be like, hey, listen, there was an episode that never aired that was made into a book that was only sold in 3 stores, and it tells the whole story of the exceptions made. Also, why don't you love Luke?
Did I press record?
The fact that we have to get up right now to see if she pressed record is so horrible. You said that you pressed record. I'm not going to cut this out, but I'm going to hold on to this, and you're going to go take that walk. And guys, if she didn't press record, I'm going to be so... Oh, yes. I thought she pressed record. Okay, why don't you like Luke?
Excuse me?
Well, guys, we're going to be quite on. Okay, so her favorite episode is...
2.
Oh, good God.
2.
Episode
like the
2.
actual 2?
The actual 2. And we watched 1, 2, 3, right? And heaven help me, 1 and 2. Oh, painful. And I'm finally getting to 4. And I get to 4, and I'm so excited.
1 and 2 were my
What do you
favorite.
say about 4?
What did I say about 4?
What do you say about A New Hope?
It was boring? Is that what I said?
Why is Luke?
Mm-hmm.
Why
I don't
are you
dislike Luke. I don't know why you said
why are you
do
not
it?
drawn to him in the same way? Be honest. It's because Anakin's cuter.
Oh yeah, hands down.
See what happens when you're led by one emotion. Your favorite episode ends up being 2. If I drop this mic, it's so expensive. I drop it right now.
I don't think I ever said that I dislike Luke. I think that his journey was very fast forwarded, and I think that with everything that we learned with Anakin going through his thing and then eventually becoming Darth Vader, it didn't seem
You don't think his character
believable.
development was big enough? Well, because you jumped in at the beginning, right? You watched the episodes in their in their episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 order, so you never gained an attachment to Luke.
No, that's a lie. I watched 4, 5, 6 with my brother. It was our thing, and then ever since then, every time a new movie came out, then we would go to the theater and watch the. What is going on?
So you think that you look crazy right now?
I
For those who are just
something.
listening to us, she's randomly picking at something in the air that doesn't exist.
There's like a hair hanging down. It's bugging me.
It's the Force.
So no, I did see 4, 5, 6 first. And
so
then
you
1,
just
2,
don't
3.
think there's enough character development to Luke?
It's not that there isn't. It's just not believable because you watch what happens. You clearly see Anakin go through whatever, and he started when he was way younger than Luke.
But what's
so
Anakin's,
Luke has?
But what's the difference?
Luke has way more attachments.
Nope,
way more.
he doesn't.
Whatever.
He doesn't have any attachments.
Well, okay, then anger, I guess.
He doesn't have anger.
They killed his family.
Well, but that he still doesn't have. I think the big difference. I think the big difference between Anakin and Luke. Well, there's no way you can say Luke is angry. You can say he might be a little whiny. I mean, I have noticed a consistent line of whininess among
the people who raised you and took care of you. All of a sudden, get blown up, and you're like, I'm just gonna go on my merry way.
I don't feel like he never felt that that's where he belonged. I don't think. First of all, sometimes the cat will come lie on Anna because she knows, oh, your blood pressure is very high. Let me sniff you. I think that the difference being is this. Number one, Anakin's life as a young person was horrible. Horrible. He was a slave. his mom was used for heaven only knows what. I mean, at some point, she ends up getting taken by those creatures, but she's also a slave. They were born into slavery. They were abused. They were used, all of that kind of thing. Luke had a fine upbringing, one that he never felt attached to, but he was loved and he was taken care of. And I think those underpinnings, those foundational underpinnings are by far, and if we just talked about psychology in general, those are by far the most significant underpinnings to having a balanced sort of energy. It's not to say you can't heal. It's not to say that you can't get broken depending on what your life gets thrown at you. But what I'm saying is Luke had a balance of that. Did he want his family to die? Of course not. But it was in no way, shape, or form the same as knowing that your mother, who had risked everything, who had let you go, who you had all but forgotten about, come back to watch her being, heaven only knows, is a PG show, by all of those sand people for however long and then killed. It's just not the same. It's not in the same hemisphere. So Luke didn't have that trajectory. That's why Luke, when he's fighting Vader or when he's with the Emperor, he can put it down. Anakin would have killed, if Anakin wasn't Darth Vader, spoiler alert, for the love of God. If you don't know that spoiler right now, out from under the rock you come. He would have killed Darth Vader. Anakin would have killed Darth Vader. Do you understand what I mean? If Anakin wasn't Darth Vader, okay. If Anakin was Anakin, but then fighting, he would have killed Darth Vader in that circumstance.
Is that his dad?
No, just, it could be anybody. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it could have been his dad, sure. Anakin could have found out that was his dad. But Anakin was too angry, was too led by all of those things, too easily pushed. Whereas Luke shut off his lightsaber, I don't know how many times, and said, I'm not doing it.
That's the part
I don't think Anakin would do.
Anyways, that's the part that I don't think is very believable. That's why I'm
he shut off his lightsaber? But that's the point, because he has more of a balance that he can sense what is true and what is not. Anakin could never sense it. He could never sense it because it was always clouded by everything else. And why don't you like Rey? Rey is the balance. Rey is the chosen one.
I've only seen the last 3. Also, why do you always start something like, why don't you like this person, instead of asking me, do you like this person?
You don't. I've been living with you for 2 years.
I don't have the same amount of knowledge on the last 3 as I do on the first 3. So it's not that I don't like Rey. I just don't think I have anything to say.
But you know what the movies, it's the way the movies progress, right? You know Rey is even connected to Kylo. Even the way she's connected to Kylo, she consistently has balance, and you don't need training for that. She never got a day of training. That's kind of interesting, right? Because Anakin gets all this training, Luke gets some kind of training. What does Rey get? Nothing. She's driving the Millennium Falcon like it's a Hot Wheel.
Yeah. But that doesn't make her a Jedi. That just makes her feel the Force, be connected to the Force.
But that is a Jedi. But what the Jedi is, she is 100% a Jedi.
Could we just, being connected to the Force makes you a Jedi, except if you're led by your emotions. Right. Which in this case,
she's not.
She has no connections. She's not led by her emotions. She's not scared. That little girl that was left in the thing.
But she's not. Do you feel that she's led by her? This is an honest question, because I don't feel that she's led by her emotions.
She is led by the, maybe curiosity is not an emotion, but it's intense to want to know where you're from. 100%. That's an emotion. I don't know what it is, but not knowing your identity is important.
But I think at every step, she overcomes fear. She doesn't ever let fear be the guiding principle. She doesn't ever let negative emotions drive her. And at every step, she makes decisions for what is best. And even when it comes to Kylo, even when she finds out who Kylo is, what Luke did, how Luke did that to her, to whatever.
Again, you're going to have to be specific, because I don't remember.
I find this really upset. We sat down for this podcast. You're like, I don't remember it. We should have rewatched.
Well, before we sat down for this podcast, remember I told you I pretty much only had 3 points that I wanted to talk about? We did say that. So
But you can't finish. It's the finish of the story. It's the end of the
go
story.
ahead, baby. Finish the story.
I think it's a progression. And
Also,
maybe
also,
this cat is so interested in why you're so... Sorry for those who are just listening to the podcast. Ripley is interested in Anna right now.
I think that Rey is related to... No, not related to. But Anakin and Rey were made the same way by different Sith Lords.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah. I think the end. I think that's true. I think that's the implication. Here's what I kind of wish, though. Here's the one thing that I wish didn't happen in this movie. Yeah. I wish that Rey, it had just been, there was no connection to bloodline. Because what the movie does, and this is the only thing I think it does poorly,
is that every awesome Jedi, like Rey and Anakin,
have to be related.
Came out of... No, they're not related.
Well, technically.
No, they're not.
It's the Emperor.
No.
It's Palpatine.
Palpatine
different
was
Sith
Rey,
Lord.
and the other one I found out about the other day.
But here's what I don't... And it's
come from the dark side.
They're all genetic. Well, so is Luke, technically, because his bloodline is from Anakin.
Yeah.
Right? But my problem with that is that I don't think the Force should be a bloodline thing. I really loved the idea.
So you would have wanted Anakin to have a dad?
No, I don't care where he came from. No, Rey. I would have loved Rey to have come from two random people that had no connection to the Emperor, that had no connection to the Sith, that had no connection to Skywalkers, that had no connection to any of the multitudes of Jedis across. I wanted them.
I
wanted Rey just to be
Jedi.
another person that was born into this world with something great. And the connection through bloodline, to me, that is the only problematic thing I find in Star Wars. It's the thing, in my opinion, that undervalues that anybody can have that connection, that anybody can be that connected, right? That it's just a matter that you're born with natural gifts that you can. So that's the part I don't like, because it seems very royalty, right? It seems very like, well, if you're the king and you have a son and then they have I just don't like that.
Fair.
Okay, so we're gonna end this.
I thought you were gonna give me a high five.
We're gonna end this by some questions. Okay, Star Wars related questions.
Oh my lord.
That people. So your favorite Jar Jar. We're gonna put that right on there. Jar Jar. C-3PO is your second. Your favorite Jedi is obviously
Jedi.
Well,
why would you say obviously? What were you about to say?
Well, your favorite Jedi is Anakin.
Okay.
He still was a Jedi, even though, and he died a Jedi.
Master. Okay, got it.
Okay. What's your favorite quote?
And
why?
I don't like the sand. It gets everywhere. Something along those lines.
Why is that your favorite quote?
Because it makes sense. Because he's from Tatooine.
You're so literal. Is there not?
Facts.
It's my favorite quote because when I've been to the beach, it gets everywhere. There's
like,
no like
tell
big
him he's,
metaphor.
Tell him he's wrong in that moment. You can't.
You don't have a metaphor for that.
Metaphor. Nobody need. You asked me for a quote.
Yeah, but
I gave you the quote.
But the point. Can I give you my interpretation of that quote?
Sure. I don't think it needs interpretation.
It
think
does.
It's straight to the point.
Nothing about I don't like sand. It gets everywhere. It is talking about what his birthplace did to him and did to his character, and how he's trying to avoid it and run from it rather than owning up to it. But it gets everywhere. And once that sand is everywhere, you can't get it off. I think that's his origin story is in that quote. It's not just that sand gets everywhere.
I think that the example of what just happened is why I live such a relaxed and chill and like carefree life compared to
Me.
you.
But doesn't that make sense?
Sure, it makes sense, but like I wouldn't think of it that way. I would just be very literal about it. Yeah, sand gets everywhere. Period. End of story.
Oh, yeah.
You don't need to.
Who's your favorite female character?
Than that.
By the way, you've only picked boys. Is Jar Jar a boy? We never really determined, but nonetheless.
Kid Leia.
Okay, from the movies.
Love her.
From the movies. We're in
Great job.
We're in
fantastic,
the 9 episodes.
Fantastic actor. I cannot say any more amazing things about this actor.
In the movies.
What was the question?
Who's your favorite female character in Star Wars? In the movies. The 9 movies.
Okay.
I do love little Leia. Leia.
Yeah.
God, I can't even say her name. Leia.
Leia. I love
Whatever.
her. She's fantastic. In the movies.
In the movies.
Probably Leia, but not Leia in the originals, but Leia in like the last
7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
She was good. You're right. She was really good in 7, 8, 9. I do like that. What are your vibes on Kylo?
I like him.
The fact that you love all the bad characters, I find fascinating.
Because I don't necessarily think that they are inherently bad. I think that they were, sure, manipulated in a way, but I just think that they are led by their emotions, and there's nothing wrong with using your emotions to.
But when you see them being led by their emotions, they do all these horrible things.
But they do these horrible things because, on the one hand, they're told not to use their emotions, and then on the other hand, when they're told to use their emotions, then they feel good about themselves, and then the person who made them feel good about themselves then is like manipulating and twisting and so on and so on. Just let people be.
Kylo wasn't manipulated like that, though, right? Kylo wasn't manipulated by that. But again, you're assuming that Jedi have no emotions. They're just not controlled by them. Compassion is their main emotion. Love is their main emotion.
All right, we can't.
It's just not selfish.
We've done the podcast, babe. We can't go back.
But it's just not selfish. One character you'd kick out of the Star Wars universe altogether. Get out. Don't ever come back.
Get out.
There's the door.
Come back. Oh.
That's just like annoying. By the way, her second favorite character is that guy, the fish guy. It's a trap.
That's not true.
It's a trap.
Who would I kick out? I don't know. Why? Yeah. Who would you kick out?
I'd probably kick out Snoke. I never understood Snoke. I never understood how easily he was killed. I never understood his purpose. I just felt like it was just such a bad, because we get back to the Emperor at the end of that. You know what I mean? I just think it was such a bad intermediary. I never really understood why he was even there. Mm-hmm. Like Rey kills him, like, Kylo or like Obi-Wan killed a droid in episode 2. Like, it doesn't make any sense how easy that happened. I'm just like, I think that was a bad situation.
Mm-hmm. I think you're right, because the other guy.
I love it when she says that, guys. That only happens once. that only happens once every 6 months.
It's
4 times.
The one that was it Anakin that he killed? All of a sudden, he had like 27 lightsabers. That one.
Oh yeah, Grievous.
Mm-hmm.
Grievous. Yeah, he was stupid too. I didn't get him either. And why is he coughing so much? Isn't he a robot?
That's my point. I don't know
what was going on with that. One of my favorite characters. You're not even asking.
I'm
me.
the guest. This is Unlearn 16 classes in session. This isn't.
I love the
Anna
Jawas.
Pack, Bite the Rainbow.
I would love a Halloween costume at some point in my adult life to be about 50 Jawas.
Yeah.
I want to be a bunch of Jawas.
No, you want to be that pig guy with the axes.
Oh, I love him, but that's so expensive. But like. We could get a bunch of people in black cloaks with brown cloaks with the face mask on, little beady eyes. Like that's a doable costume. I'm just saying. My favorite's Rey, by the way, just so everybody knows. And it's not because she's a girl, although that's lovely, because it definitely was a boy-centered movie. And I would have loved her even more had her origin story been, who cares? Two people that loved her, that died fighting on a planet, that, whatever. Then that was it. That I would have liked that better, because I think that would have been more powerful. A spin-off. If you could see one spin-off, what would it be? Of one character. I know yours would be. One character right now gets his own show. It's all about them.
Jar Jar.
Stop it right now.
I don't know. I'm kind of excited to see the Ahsoka, the one that we can't figure out, but I'm excited to see hers because I think that's the point I'm trying to make. I think. I could be very wrong.
I think we're going to have to go look.
Ahsoka?
Ahsoka Toa. Ahsoka?
I don't know.
Ahsoka. One last question.
Mm-hmm.
This is a hard one, guys, and I want you guys to think about this. And then we're gonna call it a day. CGI versus puppets in the Star Wars universe.
I don't mind the CGI. I don't mind it. I know that one scene that you pointed out. That one, yeah.
She's talking about Jabba the Hutt when Han Solo steps on his tail and they're out. And Jabba the Hutt was amazing. 14 people were required to function him as a puppet. When you see all the band playing and they're all costumes and puppets, it is so much more authentic and interesting. When you see, God, like hundreds of stormtroopers that are all in costume rather than CGI'd, it is awesome. That's what makes those movies awesome. CGI is cheap. It's just a way of getting around actually doing cool stuff that's expensive. That's the end.
That's the end. Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you, Anna Pack, for coming on.
Let me know
here,
if I was
destroying
right.
my world. Oh, for the love of God. Go ahead. Put your comments
There's going to be a lot of people in this comment section that are going to be like, Anna Pack, open my eyes today.
Talk more about movies and hear more of an opinion that you will never, ever understand.
Harry Potter next.
We can do Harry Potter next. I've seen all the Harry Potters now. Mm-hmm. We start with the gay Dumbledore.
Well, that's the Fantastic Beasts series, but we
I'd
can.
like to start with the gay Dumbledore. All right, maybe we'll do Harry Potter. Put comments below if you want to see us review big sort of epic movies where they have these really, really strong underpinnings, because I guarantee she's going to disagree with every single thing I say. Thank you guys for hanging out with us, and I will see you next Tuesday, same bat time.
Peace out, homies.
Same bat station. I'm waiting for you every time to do that.
May the Force be with you.
And with you. Dismissed.